Well, good morning, everybody. Now, of course, we're going to have to switch to English. I hope it's okay for everybody. We tend to get a little excited about our technology, so whenever we get too excited and talk too quick, please stop us. But thanks for the introduction, guys. My name is Anders. I'm here as the responsible person for Denmark and Iceland for our commercial side, and I've brought Jesper with me. Jesper is responsible for our technology, so our products. And first of all, I want to say to Gunnar and the team, thank you very much for inviting us. It's quite impressive to see so many people. When we do presentations now in Stockholm, Helsinki, Copenhagen, it's normally a bunch of 20-30 people. So we were expecting 20, and now it's almost 60 here in Iceland. So it's no longer the little brother, it's more the big brother, yeah? So it's strong. So before I kick in and before we do our presentation, just want to mention the relationship we have with Edico. Started about 5 years ago, really getting into a cooperation and a partnership, and has built now to being one of our leading partners up here, driving some of the big projects, both on the traditional printing side that Zebra was known for, so label printing, but also on the mobile computing that came from our acquisition of Motorola and Super. So we have a great cooperation, we've got some very qualified people, and we look forward to bringing that partnership even to the next level. So thanks so far for your assistance. Just a few words, I hope many of you know us. Zebra, I don't want to get into all the commercials, all the American slides. Worldwide company, we are on the NASDAQ. We're focusing a lot on trying to turn our turnover into new products. So we invest a lot in new products. What I want to bring forward, which I just mentioned, Zebra today is a mix of what you know from previously. Some of you may have used our simple scanners. Some of you maybe used it when it was Motorola. All those companies Zebra acquired, the simple division from Motorola. Just before we did that, Motorola had acquired Cyan, who did even more rugged handhelds for warehouses and in the field. So today, all of those brands are now mixed in one, and it's the Zebra brand moving forward. We've been in the business for many years. Always been in the business of barcoding. We
are the company inventing the barcode. The first barcode readers were provided by Symbol.
Yeah. First printer, first barcode printer, first scanner, as Jesper said. We were involved in developing and setting the standards for barcodes. So it's always been our business. And also now, not only talking about the traditional barcodes, but also talking about what I would call maybe a wireless barcode, the RFID technology that's also kicking in. We're also heavily involved in that. And we have been the front runners. You can see this product maybe doesn't show the first one here on the left. The first barcode scanner invented back in the 80s. It looked a little bit more like something for the gym, but today it's more slim. We work in different product groups: mobile computer, barcode scanning, and RFID reading. That's the traditional simple Motorola business. And for the traditional Zebra business, the printing, everything that has to do with tagging a product or labeling a product, whether it's small desktop printers in a hospital, in a shop, in a warehouse, or whether it's mobility. We put up our market position because we are today the complete market leader, and we want to be seen as a trusted partner moving forward. Developing not consumer products, only business-to-business rugged products, enterprise. Before we get into the true agenda, I want to mention to you is when we talk about Zebra, it's also talking about who we cooperate very close with. Today we're going to talk a lot about OS and operating systems on our devices, and one of our closest partners now is Google. We sit with them very close. Have developed with Google, and is selected as the #1 enterprise vendor for Google to help them make the Android platform even better on the business side. Inside our products, we have, you can mention, we're working with Qualcomm and Intel chipsets, so also the leading brands there, and obviously from back in the days, Microsoft has been a partner for us for many years. So very close with those companies. So one of the things we wanted to talk to you about today, and that Jesper is going to elaborate on, is that for the mobile devices, we're seeing a big change in the market. It used to be 99% Microsoft, but now there's a big change in the market. If we look at it on your consumer phones, it's not it hasn't been a Microsoft-led world. They only have about 3%. It's now an Android play, or it's an iOS. So a very big dominant position for Android. On the enterprise side, our world of professional devices, you can see over there, Android today is only 23%. 75% is Microsoft. Old Windows CE, Windows Mobile. But there is something that we need to alert you on.
Many of you maybe already have mobile devices running CE or Windows Mobile. And if you're going down to the security department, what will you ask first? Do you have any service update, any patches for these devices? If you look up in here in the top, this is from Microsoft. Windows Mobile, Windows CE, all these operating systems has been end of support. Windows 7 or Windows CE 7, or 1 year back. Windows Mobile, many of you maybe already have devices, have been out for support for 2 years. So you have an install base out there, no patching, no updating, nothing is going to happen to these devices. That's what Microsoft have chosen to do because they are focused on the new Windows 10 IoT. So what can we do? We can do two things. First of all, if you have a Zebra, Motorola, simple device running this OS, I hope is our brand, we have an extended support. What is the extended support? We have a group of people still doing patches for these devices, and you can still download the patch. There just came out this crack, not like crack, but crack, the Wi-Fi hack be coming out. We have just came out with update for all these old devices. Still, it's not something Microsoft is doing because they're not caring about it longer, no support. What we are doing is coming in November for all the old CE and Windows Mobile devices. This is only for Zebra. So what happened? For some years back, in the beginning of my period at Motorola time, that period, we were beginning to invest to what kind of OS should be the next one. We could not choose iOS, that's going to have Apple products, so we are looking for what could we do. So we are choosing Android together with Windows Mobile at that moment. We are working with the version 2, that was Jelly Bean, way back. So we are being there from the beginning. Most of you already know, just came out with version 8 of Android. We have been in the full period, have product from the top and rugged product to the small ones. So what we are seeing now, the market has changed. We're not seeing Windows CE longer, we're not seeing Windows Mobile. We will not have the possibility to build new products that are running these OS because the hardware is too new and the driver is not included in the OS longer. So what we're going to see, Windows Mobile and Windows CE is technical dead, to be honest. It's going to be Android in the future, or right now, or Windows 10 IoT.
And I think it's important to understand that if you have Windows applications and you say, maybe I want to go to a Windows 10 IoT platform, then you need to rewrite your application anyway. So when you're looking at it now, you're seeing a market full of Android devices. There is no new, very few Windows devices. So future for us is truly on the Android side.
Yeah. We are still looking as a company into a multi-vendor OS strategy. And when I'm saying this, it's because we know in the future, maybe 1 to 2 years from now, we will see other operating systems coming out, like Ubuntu, Linux, and so on. So we want to provide on all our products, all the OSs, mobile OSs out there. At the moment, we only have 2 to choose about, and that's Windows 10 IoT or this Android, right?
And maybe some of you will say, well, Android, that's something for my mobile phone. That's not really, is it really something we can trust? But we can already now say that it's a huge success. You see new companies, we saw Carlsberg move to it. We have many big installations.
The Danish hospital, 8,000 units of those with Android, so hospital.
So already now we've got a broad portfolio and a trusted. We'll get back to some of the security parts that makes our devices much more secure than a standard Android phone.
Let's bring me in again. Yeah. Before we will go into very technical, you can always pick me in the corner over there and challenge me. But when you're going down to the IT department, you will say Android is not secure. The first the guy will say in the security department. And you will ask him, do you have Windows mobile devices? Yes. All right. Should I show you how easy we can break into these devices? And after we have shown them, now we can talk about Android. Yes, Android as for a consumer is not very secure because you're only getting an update every half year. And Google is only supporting the current OS and one OS back. So if you have a device running Marshmallows, that's version 6, it's not supported by Google longer. So if you have a smartphone with that version, you will not technically maybe not get any security patches. We are seeing that's an issue. So as an enterprise company, we cannot rely on that. We need to do something better. So what we have done, we are sitting together with Google every month to getting all these vulnerability holes are in the system. We are making a patch. So every month you can get a patch for all our devices that take all vulnerability holes in the system and patch them so we are on the highest security level we can be. No other is doing this, no consumer is doing it. We are doing it every month. We are also doing it on older Android units, like KitKat version 4, Lollipop version 5. We are still updating. We are calling the lifeguard for Android. So this is a bit different what we are seeing out there. We are technically adding more security, more updates into an Android product than Android is doing on their own on a consumer product. When you're buying a product from us, we are delivering with one OS, but we are also at the same time promised you we can upgrade for 2 major upgrades. What is 2 major upgrades? If you buy one product and it's delivered with Marshmallows version 6, we promise you we will upgrade and get it certified for Nougat, that's the 7, or next one, that's number 8. We will promise you we will upgrade our hardware. That's not your normal something you see. It's not the physical hardware. It's only the OS layer we are upgrading on the device.
And the reason this is so important is that when we talk about mobile phones that we have for our private use, maybe we talk about it will last a year, maybe 2 if we're really taking care of it. We are often talking about life cycles, very long life cycles. 5 years is not normally a problem. We can get back to the details. But normally we have products that is 5 years for sale, and then after 5 years, 5 years for service. So technically you can keep your products running for 10 years. And that's why it's so important that you should be able to upgrade it once needed.
When we are ending to the life cycle of our product where we not can update the OS longer because the hardware is not reliable to do it, that could be for Android version 9, we will 2 years after, always every month come with a software package update for all the security vulnerabilities. So that's the way we are securing your install base on the devices. They will be updated and patches. Totally different. Yep.
A big range of products. We talked with the guys at Edico and saw that there was a mix of customers here. Some in retail, some in healthcare, some in manufacturing, some in logistics. So instead of going into details with all the products, we've got the biggest portfolio in the for us always. We want to maybe go through some of the verticals and
we have put all our product into we put all our product into verticals, and then we want to walk through with you the verticals instead of walking through all the products. Because we have a lot of products, not because we have a lot of old products, but we are trying to have products that suit a purpose. So we have with a gun grip if that needed, we have devices small if that in fact something needs to be small, or a big display. So this is a huge portfolio, so we will not talk about each product, but more how we are using the product in the different areas. Alright? If anyone has any questions, just raise your hand and bring it up when we are going through the presentations. Right?
Okay, first off, retail is truly important to us because everything is barcoded in retail and there's a lot of logistics happening in the store, behind store. So I wanted to give you a little insight on how we see retail. Maybe you can say yes and not to some of the points, maybe it's relevant to you. We did a big study all around the world where we talked to the leading retailers, trying to see how do you view the future in 5 years' time, 4 or 5 years' time. So just we'll give you some insight of what we see happening. And first of all, we see that retail is really changing now because of all the digital stuff. We can now suddenly sit at home, order stuff, see all the products available. So that sets a lot of new demands on how you can handle your supply chain, how you need to maybe have another experience in the shop. And speaking of experience in the shop, we're saying that retail will need to change the way they do business. It's not going to be a brick and mortar where you walk into a store. In the future, a retail store could be a collection point. It could be that I ordered online, I'm just going to pick it up somewhere. It could also be that it's a learning space where I'm going to interact, I'm going to learn about wines or food or cooking or whatever to create an atmosphere in there. Or it could be a social space. We see in Denmark there's a lot of the Joe and Juice company, juice bars and sandwich bars popping up where suddenly it becomes, yes, somewhere you get a juice and you eat, but also somewhere you socialize. Also the shop becomes a picking center. Sometimes shops will decide, if I get online orders, maybe I should pick them in the store. So it becomes a warehouse in the store. And then there's a concept that we're going to touch on, shop how you want. We talk about personal shopping, being able to scan your own products while you do the shopping. That's something that we see now moving fast in the Nordics.
We have a huge growth in Denmark. We have the Coop. I do not know if you know that chain, but there we already implemented person shopper where you are scanning your barcode, scanning your product when you're shopping directly. Let's get a very fast checkout. We don't have any checkout area at all.
We're going to try, instead of us talking all the time, we're going to try to show a little video of how technology is going to change the way retail works. So this is Amazon.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
The technology you're seeing here, you're using, is something we call Smart Lens. Smart Lens is the product that is tracking all the objectives are in the store, including using RFID, using barcodes, and using Bluetooth sensors. There's a multiple technology we're bringing together for doing these kind of features.
And not only our technology, also sensors in each shelf, there are some weights. So it's very advanced. They wanted to show that you can use technology in a completely different way to change it. They actually decided to come so far that they showed it and opened it for a few days and then they closed it down because it was too technical. But just to show you that we'll probably not see this step, but we'll see something close to it. And one of the things that we are, oh sorry, that was a question.
Yeah, sorry. How does the Amazon Go identify the customer?
They have an app where you scan your barcode,
Yeah.
so it's like a loyalty card, just an electronic one on your
So you
phone.
show your barcode when you're
When you enter.
When you need to check into the store, you have like this small area where you need to scan the barcode, and now the camera in the roof is looking at you, see the bus attitude. Maybe you also have your kid with you, and now you're a group of people. That's very important because now we can track people walking around the store, so we can see where people are 100%, not only on Wi-Fi, but also on the bus attitude. When people are picking a product, the camera can see this is a milk we are picking out, and can see you put it into your basket. So that's all the technology we are using together with all the other technology we're putting together. So when you're getting up to your checkout area again, we're using some verification, your loyalty card or a barcode, anything for scan, and now you're just leaving the store. So that's the technology we are trying to bring in, and we have a product called Smart Lens that have these capabilities here.
Yep. So, but one of the things that the market study we did with all the retailers saying, what are you going to do? What are you looking for the next 4 years? One of the things they said that 75% of them said, we want to know when specific customers are in the store. We like this one says, the black ones are now, and the blue ones is in 4 or 5 years. So they say, we want to know when specific customers are in store. We want to know where they are in store so we can merchandise better, make the shop even more perfect. And maybe we want some alerts for whenever Gunnar walks into the store, we need to greet him in a special way, or So you want to have a more personal push to the customer. This is what we are convincing. The self-scanning solution where you either use a mobile phone with an application on, you have on your iTunes, there is a Visa card attached to your account. Then you would walk around, scan your products yourself, and then when you check out, maybe there's just a checkout barcode, and then they can pull out 1 or 2, maybe 1 in 20, maybe 1 in 10 out for checks if they did all the scanning. We have a professional solution with a handheld device. I think we have one down here, one of the old models. So if it's a big basket, if it's a trolley that I'm walking with, maybe I don't want to use my smartphone scanning because my girlfriend is going to call me. Maybe it runs out of battery. It's not a good scanner. So then we have something you can put on the web. So this is something, a concept that is very much already in place in Sweden. We're seeing it now being moved to Denmark. Norway is also active, and it's a way of seeing that we need to change the way. If I come in and shop, maybe I just need 5 things. I want to be able to scan my things and walk out quickly. Don't want to be in a line. But I think there will still be lines and cashiers because maybe the older generation will still prefer to have dialogue. So you're going to see a mix of possibilities in the future. One of the other things that we already talked a little bit about, click and collect. So the thing that you look online and order, and maybe you collect it at store, or they send it home to you. That's a concept that you see 89% of the retailers going to implement it either by having somebody who's going to pick it up in store or who's going to have a delivery home. And you got to remember all these activities, all this logistics. Maybe you want to, instead of sending it from a warehouse, you want to pick it in store like we talked about. So then suddenly you need new devices to handle all these operations. And when you have, before maybe it was very simple. We have a warehouse, we've got products, we've got shops, so we're sending products to the shops, they will sell it. Today it's a little bit more complicated because sometimes we want to use the store as a warehouse, sometimes we want to send the products that you ordered online from the warehouse, so it's very complicated. You need to be 100% sure, you need to be very sure what products you have. We spoke to a leading retailer in Denmark who said, I would like to pick my online orders in the shop because my personnel is not busy all the time. So I'd like to use them to pick the products, and then customers would pick up the products when they are off work. But you need about 90% accuracy because otherwise Jesper will order a special pasta or a special gin and tonic or whatever, and then it's not available in store. You need to be sure what you have in store, otherwise you need to give replacement products. And one of the ways that we're seeing now moving forward, one of the technologies that is really now kicking in is RFID. It's a technology that was, when I joined the business in 2000, it was the replacement for the barcode. Forget about the barcode, it's going to be RFID. And that's the biggest misunderstanding ever. But it's a technology now where there's standardizations on the technology. The hardware price for our devices is much lower, much more developed, and the tax is now much less expensive. So it's suddenly a technology that is worth looking at to be sure what you have in store. And you saw here one of the examples that we brought up in the survey, item level RFID. So tagging each level, each item in store. 75% of the retailers will do that within 5 years. And another funny one that they want to do is the video monitoring of inventory. So instead of always having a guy walking down and say, okay, now we're out of bananas, fill up the shelf with bananas. Now we're doing a little pilot now with Tesco in the UK, where we have the shelf of bananas or oranges or whatever it is. And it's a simple camera technology where you look at the bananas or the oranges and the background is black. Once there's too much black on this camera image, it sends an alert to the handheld device of one of the staff who will say, please go fill up the bananas. So instead of him or her having to be there constantly and checking, do I need to do stuff, then they have time to spend time with customers, assisting them, and when they need it, they can do it. So that's a new technology that we're seeing in retail, or will see in retail. And now we're going to try with the technology here. Jesper, maybe you can explain TC50.
Before the video,
that we're showing today is very much inspired by smartphones because it looks a lot like an iPhone, but it's very different. Yeah, it looks
no. Can you do like this with your iPhone? No, alright. First of all, now we're going to talk a little about hardware, right? You know, some of you maybe not interested in hardware, but that's what we are living for, breathing for, alright? First of all, the device I'm standing with here in my hand is a TC56. The device is the same as the Danish hospital have chosen. 8,000 units they're running there. Why is this device chosen? First of all, yes, it has a big display and fast process and a lot of memory, yes. First of all, you need to have the possibility to read barcodes. So instead of using your camera, you're using the barcodes built in. Scan engine, 1D, 2D. Just read them up here. Easily, handily, if you're in all directions. The second thing here very important for them was have a possibility to change the battery. Why do you need to change the battery? Because you're using 2 shifts. So when the doctor is finalizing his day after 10 hours work, You cannot wait for this device to sit and charge for 2 hours for the next one picking up, because there's new people coming in and do the next shift.
And that's the same in a retail store. Somebody coming in at 8 o'clock, and maybe at 4 o'clock they go home, the store is still open, and they would not need to, they can't wait for a new device to charge, or they would just pick up a battery.
So very easy for them, just pull out the battery in the back, change the battery, add a new battery into the device. Now 10 hours drive again. So there's a much bigger battery in what you're seeing in a consumer device. It's much bigger battery in what you're seeing in a decent phone. So you have like 10 hours of full power of your device. That's very important in a hospital where they are working longer shift in 8 hours in one go. The second thing was, as you have seen before, it's very important when the device is going on the floor, and that's happened pretty often at the hospital. The device, if it's going to break, you do not have any device, you can maybe not do the work you need to do. So it's very important, the product is very tough. And the product here, we're just seeing here, is 1.20 meters to concrete. In here it's not concrete, but this is very easy to throw the device on the ground, but the device is still working afterwards. We have a front-facing camera, we have a back-facing camera, we have a lot of buttons here, can be used for different things. You're just seeing scanning, could also be like a push-to-talk, I'm going to show you later, could also be for your application. All these kind of things are very important. The last thing we're not discussed, on a smartphone you normally have a small USB port, USB-C or whatever, Apple Lightning connector. How good are these connectors after half a year you do like this? It's going good at home, you really, but on a hospital you're just taking the cable, pulling out. Here we're using what we call I/O connectors. The positive thing here, we have chargers. So everything can easily be slided in the charger, pull up again, and will work day in and day out. That's very important.
And what we want to do, we want to make sure that if it's a retail store, if it's a hospital, we want to make sure that they have a device, a small computer in their hand. And another possibility could be the tablet.
This is our tablets. We have two types of our tablets. First of all, let's see if it's still working. Yes, it's still working, that's good. We have a 10-inch and an 8-inch tablet, all right? So you can get an 8 and 10-inch. Just here, what you're seeing here in my hand, I have a bumper frame around it. That's why it's pretty bulky. Down there you can see without the bumper frame. There's accessories, very heavily used now. We have 2 OS you can choose about. We have Windows 10 IoT, but we also have Android, and that's Marshmallows, that's version 6 at the moment. So you're gonna choose. So here we see the multi-OS. But why are they using these pretty old? First of all, again, we need the scanning. So we have a scanner here in the bottom. It's pretty easy for scanning to get the barcodes. The next thing, I'm running Windows here. Now I have like 8 hours battery time on this one, but that's not good enough. And I also need to change the battery when the device is running. So I'm just pulling out the battery here behind. My device is still running because I have 2 batteries, one inside and an external one. The external one gives me 6 hours more of power. So 6 plus 8, now 14 hours of power on my tablet. Pretty easy.
And we've seen some retail stores moving the manager from the back office into the store, doing a lot of his job with a tablet. And because it sits on his hand and he can do the scanning as well, he would be able to do assisted shopping. He would be able to start tasks for his staff. So it's about mobility. It's about moving people away from back office and giving them mobile devices to be active.
So where we are trying to sit this unit in, this is not a consumer unit, but it's also not a heavy rugged unit. You know, these very, very expensive tablets coming from another vendor, like for military grade, it's too big, too bulky. You're trying to sit in the middle of these two worlds. A world where we still can promise you can get this tablet for the next 3 years, and you get a service contract so you can still have extended life for 3 years more, so that's 6 years you can run the tablet. Try to ask Apple how long you can get the same iPad. Just came out a new one, can you use your old casing? No, not at all. You can still use the old charger? No, not at all, you need to have a new charger. and so on and so on. But that's what we are trying to secure your installed base for a long lifetime of the period. The same, we're also using the same conductors here, very easy to charge, very easy to stack, and all the lifeguard is also included into the product. As Anders just jumping through here, we have like two versions when we're looking into the display, but we also have two versions, the 50 and 55. So if you're only working in for the four walls or wireless network, we have a unit, but if you're working outside, we also have one with several areas. Now we have some different, what's our hands up over there? Or? No? Good, well.
So inside or outside? Yeah, and that moves on to the next area that we work a lot in, logistics or field mobility, we could say, has been our core. We know that the workers out in the field need even more rugged devices than that we see maybe in a retail store. We know that for them to use phones is going to be a challenge. If they suddenly don't have a device running, we also saw an example today. They're very reliant on it, so they need to have something that they can trust. Otherwise, their work stops. And one of the things we wanted to point out, and maybe we need to highlight, is our products is more expensive when you start. But we see
compared to consumer phones.
Compared to consumer phones. But when you see over the lifespan, which is typically 3 to 5 years, depending on what kind of product you have, then you see a higher total cost of ownership on a consumer device. So keep it in mind. We talked about life cycles. 5 plus 5 is normal for us. 5 years for sale, 5 years for service, and we also keep the accessories in portfolio. Today you saw some example of mobile device management from some customers. We work together with Sochi, together with AirWatch, so they get root access to our devices to control down to deep details. And Jesper already covered the battery, so we feel like you need to give a proper device for the guys in the field.
I'm trying to run the last video, Jesper, before you do a little show.
But just to show you that in the old days, Jesper have an example of an old-fashioned device. Jesper, bring up the old-fashioned device, just to show you. Back in the days when you had these devices in the warehouse, they were running one applications. They were picking products on the warehouse.
That's the next slide.
I know, but it was just an example. Today, the devices that you're running today, it looks like a smartphone, but as we want to show in the video, it can do multiple purposes. Yes, it will help them do the track and trace with the scanning, but you can also do route optimization, where do I need to go? You can also do calling. So suddenly it's a device where it's not just one purpose, it's multiple applications that you can run. So very, very important. Yes. It has a bigger brother. This was one that Yodel, one of the couriers, implemented in UK. It has a bigger brother. Jesper can demonstrate.
This is the big brother to the TC55, so that's the TC70 or 75, depends on the mobile, wireless or LAN connection. One thing I was not mentioned before is on hospitals, in warehouses, on transport logistics, you need to use these normally with glove. In Iceland, I'm pretty sure. But these can be used with glove. But what is also in Iceland? Snow, rain. So if you have these devices, first of all, you can use water on it, but you can still also control it. So I'm just here trying to put some water on the display. I should put it up here. So I can still hold my application. The device is still working properly on the device when there's water or on the display. That could also be rain. That's a big difference to a consumer device. Try to put a drip of water on your phone, you will see you can take not control the display longer. It's still controllable here. Are you trying down there? All right. So this is the device you're seeing this Postman Technical was using. Also a small one, but that Juul has chosen this device to outside, and this is the most rugged device we have in the portfolio, where we are seeing all touch. When we are talking all touch, this displays without any keyboard, only display. So this is the most tough device we have to tough environment.
Okay. Moving on to the warehouse, Jesper already touched on it. There we see some big changes because we see in the retail stores, they maybe now generate more orders for the warehouse, so they need to be faster, they need to deliver tomorrow, they need to be very accurate. So there's a huge push on the warehouse to be more productive. And one of the things that we have seen in the past is the devices that Jesper is standing with.
This is traditional, warehouse device. We're still selling a lot of these, so don't stop with buying it, please. But traditional warehouse devices look like this, keyboard, display, gun handle. That's great, it's pretty easy, straight shooter. There's one stupid thing that's coming on here. Every time I'm scanning, normally I need to look at the display. So what I need to do is doing like this. So I'm standing here, scan, look, scan, look. Every time I need to go to the new route, scan, look again. So I always need to, first of all, move my head, move my arm. First of all, that takes time. It's not pretty good for your time condition, and it's the same. You also, over time, maybe get some,
injuries. And it's a simple example, just doing the math. If you do 120 picks, you've got 3 tilted motions per pick. You've got 8-hour shift, and it takes you maybe a second or so to do the tilted motion. You come up to a point where you waste. This is an example. It can be a little bit American, but just a general thing. There's a lot of wasted motion, a lot of wasted time. And in a warehouse, if you could save an hour per day, let's just say it's half an hour per day per worker, it's a huge gain because these devices will last for years and years. And the way we can do it.
So the new world, or the new idea, we need to get the remote session going. This is technically the same device you're just seeing here, but the gun handle is in the same direction at the scanning. So what is different here? I'm just scanning my barcode, and I'm looking up at the device at the same time, see what I'm doing. And I'm not moving my arm at all. I'm just seeing what I'm scanning at the application at the same time. So we have just tilted down instead of having the same direction as we had before, like it's the straight shooter. So that's getting a lot of benefits. I will just see if you can pull it up here. Yeah, that's it.
We're just trying to show you the screen that Jesper has.
This is the same screen, so it is just a remote thing on our devices. All our devices have this application running on so everyone can use it. It's just a remote desktop session so you can see what's going on the device.
Purpose for training example.
Yeah, purpose for training. So, alright, here we have the barcode, and just reading the barcode through looking at the display. 2 benefits you get out of this. First of all, you're having a picking area where you need to have a scanner in the presentation mode. This one cannot stand in a presentation mode because when it is standing in a crane, it's shooting up in the roof, alright? Here, you can stand this in a presentation crane. I'm going to stand on the table like this, and every time I take a package up to the scanner, I'm going to scan it because the scanner is shooting the right direction. First, good idea. The second idea, if you're going into a truck in a warehouse, most trucks normally have a truck PC, could be a tablet with included a scanner. One of these scanners maybe. But you always need to look at the display, look at the package, shoot the package, look at the display again. So instead of having a tablet and a scanner, remove these two, use one of those, have this sitting in the truck, showing the navigation where you need to go to what aisle. From there, you just click it out. Now you shoot the product, you're not moving your head, you shoot the product, you're seeing the application, you're getting the right numbers, adding how many numbers you're picking, and add it back to the truck. So that's less movement, it's much better for the truck driver, and again, you will be more productive in the warehouse. The next thing, I know Anders wants. Oh, is this still in? No. Don't worry, I'm just going to use this one. So, wait. On all our Android units, this is only for the Android units, alright? We have push to talk. What is push to talk? It's radios. It's coming from the time where the company was called Motorola. So included in the product, no additional server, no. They'll come back, right? So you just enable the feature. When you push to talk, just push a hello, hello. And now you can talk. This is via my small mobile router over here. But these are connected through our Wi-Fi network. And now you have a walkie-talkie functionality on all your mobile devices in your warehouse, in your back office, in your retail store.
And this could also just be alerts and please send more staff to open new counters. It could be, could you please have somebody assist in the wine department? It's not only available on the big devices, also available on the more retail devices.
Most of you will sit out there and say, yes, that's great, Jesper, I understand. Now I need to buy your device for getting this nice feature. We also have staff still using a Samsung phone, and we are happy with that. That's great. We have a solution. You can use your Samsung phone. You can also use your iPhone, as I'm doing here. Let's see if this is working. I'm just taking the same client I was using on these devices, pulling up my phone. The big difference here is for free. Over here is a license. Still have a cost. Here I have all 0 employees, maybe. I will try it with my colleague in Norway. It's called Edward, so let's see if Edward wants to talk back. So what I'm doing now, I'm not using the Wi-Fi, I'm using the cellular network, have a communication with an external cloud service-based server we have that can make a push to talk to one-to-one or one-to-multi. So that could be for store to store. Hey Edward, are you alive? Delaying or take maybe come back. Okay. Are you dead? Hello, Edward. Listen, no one get back. Just laying up here. Maybe he's on toilet. All right, good.
But the concept.
How are you in Iceland? Hey.
Thank you, Edward. We're just testing Push to Talk Pro on my iPhone. Shitty device.
I know I'm using an iPhone as well. Totally agree.
Yeah.
No, just an example of our, we don't only work with technology that only works with our devices. We want to work, of course, because we understand that there is consumer phones out there. So we make sure that you can also use those devices.
So we can integrate to our mobile, enterprise mobile devices can be integrated together with your normal smartphone or smart. Right? That's what's so good. I want to show you one more thing here. In warehouses, how many of you are still using terminal emulation? This old green screen. Give your hands up. Only 1, 2, 3? 3? That's not a lot. What are you using? Pen and paper? Other ones? Alright, good. Alright, this one is pretty old-fashioned and it's not easy for new people to get in, coming from the school and say, alright, it's a touch display, but I cannot, or I need to type the numbers, or I need to choose here. as half stupid. But it's not easy to change these backends. Normally it's 400 sitting in the back, nobody knows how to code on it. But what we can do is a big difference here. We can do this on a terminal emulation, but we can also do it on a web-based service. We can make a web filter in front of our layer. I'm just going to show you here. This is running there. No middleware servers. This is the same picture behind. But the big difference here, now is buttons. So now I can use a touch device with a nice touch overlay. So I'm just pulling here. Always good to show things live. Come on, think mode. Right, 2 seconds. I'm going to say something. Very persistent. I want to show you. Right. But the idea here is the only thing you need to do is all your what you call displays in the application you're running. You only need to add a web layer. It's a configure tool where you only take this picture. Now I need 5 bars, and the 5 bars is technical pressing on these numbers. That's it. So that's going to save you a lot of time, and you have a much more nicer interface, and you can. It's much more nice, easy for people to learn how to use the system. You can do the same on a web application. So if you have a web application with very small field and very small buttons, it's not touch friendly. You can just use this for making a more nice touch layer to your web application. So that's the idea. You can run on all the products.
And yes, but this is an example of that's part of our mobile DNA. I don't think we want to go into details, but we try to offer not just hardware, we try to offer some things extra to make our devices run even smoother.
Yeah, to do it very easy, we have an enterprise keyboard, so you can get a keyboard only with alphanumeric keys if that needed, or numeric keys. That's not normal for Android users. We have the lifeguard for locking down the device. We're also having something we call MX. MX is a mobile extension. That's a security features Android not still have implemented into Android, but we are adding to the device. We are also at the same time have something called Stage Now. Stage Now is not an MDM tool, but this is a tool. If you have a warehouse, you use 20 devices, and you need to stage them, get them up and running, installing your application, configuration, setting up to the Wi-Fi. You can just build one barcode with the tool. The tool is for free. Read the barcode with the scanner understanding all the settings is directly coded into the device. Cross-line if you're using this one or you're using a small form factor. I'm going to use the same barcode. So that's called Stage Now. So all these mobile DNA thing is something it's like included in the product. Only few of them have cost. You can see that.
Okay, moving on. I don't think we can make a change to healthcare. Healthcare is from being retail, warehouse, logistics. Healthcare is the last area that we focus on primarily, etc. It's a very different world, but it's also a world that's going through a lot of changes. And we know that the challenges in retail, in healthcare, is that the healthcare workers are under pressure in terms of their time. They have limited time, and they should really not focus on admin stuff. They should really be with patients. So what we have done is we think about wristbanding as the number one. You need to wristband people with a barcode, so you make sure that they get the right medicine, that the staff give the right medicine to the right patient. We had an example in Denmark. It was a horrible example. They used to just go by numbers. So if I walked into a 6-bedroom
sick bedroom, you have
then you said that Mr. Hansen, please give him medicine. Some of the nurses from a certain period calculated from one side, from left, and the other ones calculated from right. So you saw wrong medication being an issue. So we always go with the wristband as like the number one. We've developed now a full portfolio of scanners, tablets, mobile printers, mobile computers that is healthcare oriented. So they would have a disinfectant ready plastic. They would have, if it's a product that needs a power supply, and if it's near a patient, you need a certain certification, a certain power supply. So we make sure that we provide true healthcare products to the healthcare organization. Just as a wrap up, because I think we spent even more of our time that we could, we want to bring you down to and have a chat. If you want to have individual talks, you're always welcome to initiate talks through the Edico staff. The key takeaways we had today was there is a big change in the operating system. Windows is dead, so to speak. Going to Android is going to be the new player. We've got a lot of tools in the mobility DNA. Jesper showed some example of push to talks. We showed some also the states now he mentioned. There's the lifeguard that keeps your devices running securely for many years. It's not an issue anymore. Remember us as a manufacturer of devices that's going to last for years and years. As I said, we're not going to be the cheapest up front, but we are definitely going to be the best investment for the full period. It's very important to understand that we have got scanners, printers, and mobile computers that's built for purpose. They're not built for private use and lightweight. They're built for the tested environment. Then we touched on retail. Those of you working in retail, we saw it's changing. I think you'll see in the next 5 years that some of our concepts, not the Amazon Go, maybe some of them will be implemented. So no new technology will be needed there. In the field of mobility and the warehouse, we now just showed the smarter devices to make it more productive with the scanning. And the same goes in healthcare. We didn't touch so much on it, but you need to give the right tools so that they become mobile and they can focus on the patients. So I think with that, then we would say thank you to you guys for spending time with us today, and thanks to Jonah and the team for inviting.
Thank you.